Not sure what was happening. Had a lot of people happy that I was talking about nothing. Strange to me that people want to watch me talk about nothing instead of talking about what matters. It really does point how selfish we are. How incredibly ugly and selfish and self-centered everyone is. Like if you want to see people talk about nothing, then they're everybody else is doing it. You know, you can find endless streams of people talking about nothing. If you just like my voice and my look and you want to see me talking about those same things, well, I'm sorry. But if you want to, if you want the conversation, your entertainment to be about any specific thing, I'm sure you can find it. To tell somebody else that they should be, they should be the dancing monkey that you want them to be. Come on, talk about this, talk about that. It really does say a lot. And I just, I don't understand why. It's not like the conspiracy side of things is boring. It's just as, if not more, exciting than anything else going on right now. And instead of focusing on the history and the lies of it, like the lies of history is a fascinating thing, and as humans, we like that. You know, we're attracted to those scandals and conspiracies and stuff like that. At the very least, we should be looking into it and wanting definitive answers one way or another. People shouldn't be able to just come up with an entire conspiracy about something if and it take off if that thing isn't real, if there's no reality behind what they're saying. It's so strange. It's strange how manufactured and misguided our thought process is. Like everybody is gearing up for the Super Bowl and to watch the Super Bowl and the football and it matters, and I know, I know Kelsey's stats this year, and I know Mahomes stats, and I know Hurt stats, and I know all the linemen, and I know the whole layout, and well, they're gonna be, practicing on this. I got a buddy that told me if everything works out, he stands to win about $250 to $325,000 in bets this year. And on the other side, he could lose about 25 grand if it all works the other way. And it's amazing that we're so, like, if I talk to him, he's a friend of mine. We've been friends for decades. He's one of the few people I still talk to, and it's we are even still friends because he's atheistic in his world, and he's smart, and he's one of the few white guys that I've ever met that calls out racism. you know, he's just one of those guys, fat, fat Italian guy, Sicilian guy, who had the most silver spoon of silver spoons you can have in your mouth. Well, not the most, but he had quite the silver spoon in his mouth, and he grew up, and like he lived a life of just doing nothing, partying, gambling, doing whatever he wanted till he was like 30, and he got married, had a kid, was given this job where he makes well over $100,000 a year, and now he does that, and it's just crazy to think like that guy, like in so many ways people would have, laughed at him, and you know wouldn't want to be him. But at the end of the day, he's the one that's winning. He's doing better than most of the jocks, and and he's in a happy marriage, and it's just interesting. You had to shower. Like you could take me in the shower with you, Matt. I can't see you. You could see me, but then maybe you probably don't want to look at me while you're naked. I get it. I wouldn't. But that guy, you know, our our friendship, as long as I keep my conspiracies to a minimal, like he just doesn't give a shit. I wouldn't even say we're necessarily friends. We're just sort of acquaintances. I'll never ever I won't see that guy again for the rest of my life. I'll never see him for the rest of my life. It just is what it is. And I'm at this place where like you well then you can't miss anything because it's all good, baby. No, I don't know. It's like of course that guy's not gonna do what I do. He has so much to lose. He has such a great life set up for himself. Why would he want to fuck that up? But the problem is, you guys think that's what you're doing. But how does anybody think like how does anybody look at the way the world is right now, especially the United States, and think like and not think something is bad is looming? I mean that if I was looking around and everything was just great, people were just happy, rights were being respected, uh, there wasn't a genocide taking place. It was just it was it was Nate, Nate, Nate. Do you want to go to G's?
I don't know. Are we letting him go to G's?
It's not up to us. What do you want? He doesn't really want to go, do you? Do you want to go or do you want to stay and watch the Super Bowl with me?
He's staying here then.
I don't know, man. I look at I just don't get it. I don't. My wife brings these things up all the time. Can you believe this is happening? Can you believe that? And it's like, yeah, this is what I was sort of telling you guys was going to happen. When are the when it, when are the gas and food prices going to go down? Like, it just doesn't. Why aren't the people upset about it? Why aren't the Trump pansies like everything that's going on? Are all you Trump supporters still like, hell yeah, this is all good for us? Everything that's happening is great. You don't have any sort of fear that maybe you were duped. I mean, again, why aren't the gas and food prices, why haven't they been cut in half? Why have they gone up? Gas prices have gone up.
Why doesn't he want to go to cheese?
Because he's mad. Yeah. He doesn't like what she did. Because he's a good boy on the inside. He's a good boy. I don't want you getting him in any trouble. He's a good boy. Two snatch references. America, dude. Come on, dude. Don't fall down. Or don't fall for that. It hasn't been 2 weeks. It hasn't been 2 weeks. It's been longer than that. And there's been a lot that's happened. You know. But the big thing that you guys were all, sucking his dick over, that part didn't happen. And I mean, again, it just goes to show you how, like, I don't even know what you call it. Like, what bad people were engineered to be, right? For you to think that because your parents had sex in this place, that somehow you are entitled to a better quality of life, more rights than the average, than somebody whose parents had sex somewhere else. That's an insanity. That's a disgusting part of us that we're tricked into thinking is some sort of source of pride. Oh, we're from this place. So so that makes, like, it's just, I've said forever, civic pride and racial pride are the dumbest things you can have. I do understand where the whole brown pride and black pride comes from. And it's, I mean, the thing about racism is that people of color in the United States, especially, can't be racist. We can be, prejudiced as a motherfucker. There's no doubt that black people can be very prejudiced and Mexican people can be very prejudiced. But racism is you affect the community. You decide how much money goes into the school systems, and whether there's grocery stores and stuff like that. Like, that's what racism is. And black people just don't have, no other person but white people in Jays have that power here in the United States. And if you really wanted to get rid of the prejudice from the people of color, then you have to get rid of white racism first and foremost. Right? The white racism is what drives. Why? Because are you
not giving them a skin. They're not helping. They're killing us, and they're just being a problem. No, I'm
so wait. Remember how, like, yesterday everybody kept saying, Nick, stop shooting the barrels. Nick. No, because you were hurting everybody.
I was blowing myself up.
No, you were hurting everybody. So how about this? If you guys can't play the games equally, then don't play.
Yeah, I don't want them to play.
No, it doesn't work that way.
No.
I don't know what you just heard, but nobody plays. If you all can't play, nobody plays. Here.
Yep. Guest gets right of whatever they want. Remind them that. Oh, the joys of parenthood. I don't know what y'all were talking about because I was downstairs. And yeah. I have, as usual, 20 million things that I'm doing. Oh, goodness. So yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. was on kids and questions. See, a lot of times when I'm sitting here silent, I get a lot of, I run a few different groups and I get a lot of questions thrown my way about oils and herbs and um, different things that I mentor and educate others on. And and once you're in that like mode, it's hard to snap right out of it and jump into a conversation. I try to do my best, especially when he asks me questions, because I am trying to also hear what he's talking about. But I was physically downstairs this time, so I have no idea. I know that I had started the political ball rolling, asking him what entitlement payments consisted of, which it's a really awful name when I learned what they were. Like, I thought entitlement payments would be more like reparation type payments, whether it's to Native Americans or, black people or, the Holocaust survivors that I know that we still help fund. I wasn't sure. Turns out entitlement payments are your own fucking money coming back to you in one form or another when you're in need. So like Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare and um, SNAP and that entitlement payments. What a fucking horrible brainwashing term that is. That really makes me mad. I don't think he caught that. I'm gonna have to bring that to his attention when he comes upstairs because that's a really fucking awful way. That's why I heard the term entitlement payments, not knowing it, what that was, and my brain goes to okay, entitlement, what people are entitled to, and feel they're entitled to, not because they paid for it, just because they're entitled. Well, that would include people whose land we stole from. They are entitled to this land and payment for it. So that I naturally think, but no, nope. It's our own money that the government steals from us, so that they can then make money off of, and then return to us just a return a percentage of it to us, really, um, in a way that they seem fit, and if we follow the rules, and only for a limited time. Because once we're dead, fuck you. We're keeping the rest of your money. Fuck your family. It's pretty crazy. So I was thinking about it. So, you heard the term.
Okay, wait. Let's not be a butthole. Right, Nate, where did you put the thing when you switched it? Okay, well, first and foremost, figure that part out. You're supposed to put it back where it goes, correct?
There's just that one little pile of games
Nathan,
in front.
I'm talking to you. So you're supposed to put it back where it goes, correct? Help your brother find it.
It was just that one pile of games right in front of the cabinet.
I know exactly what was happening.
Okay, so
it sucks when that happens.
the um, the term entitlement payments. The reason I was so confused, because first of all, I've never
It's a
heard of
weird
it.
term.
Well, so it would. That's why my brain went to okay, entitled. Entitled people are the Native Americans, and I know we pay them reparations, and people that are entitled to get paid back for some wrongdoing. Social Security, whether it's disability or Social Security insurance, whatever, paid, SNAP, that's all our own fucking money. That should not be called entitlement. That's such a brainwashing term to call that lump of funding. I can't even believe it. How horrible is that? Those aren't entitlement payments. That's our own fucking money that you stole so you could invest and then give us just a percentage back in penance and make us feel guilty about and jump through hoops for. But you're going to call that entitlement payments? Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
again, so at the end of the day, the question then becomes, why is that way to begin with?
To control and brainwash us. every
No, I mean,
twist and turn along
but
our
who
lives.
made it that way? Who decided the specific legislation, all of the wording? They wrote it out the way they did. Then it got voted on or presented in whatever
That shit
Congress.
doesn't get voted on. You think it got voted on to name it the Gulf of America?
No, I think there's
Right.
lots of things that go through, but then there's lots of things that you don't know about. I know
Right.
when right after October 7th, when Israel started just killing people like crazy, uh, Congressperson Prima Jim or something like that, like some Indian broad, was at a party. She was at a party on a Sunday or on a Saturday night, and she said something about how, you know, Israel's just over something that didn't paint Israel in the best light, but it wasn't even anything, outrageous or something. Of course, yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. It was
What
like
do you
a
mean?
it was just like a thing.
Oh,
So so Sunday morning, this is all in the newspapers and shit. And either Monday or by Monday or Tuesday, the legislation it was symbolic legislation. It wasn't actual legislation, but it was some sort of symbolic something or other where, you know, it was like a pledge to Israel that we will give them whatever they need, and it was just the craziest thing. And then to think that, like, this thing was set on Saturday night, by Monday the legislation is written, and then by Tuesday, not only are they meeting about it, but every single member, all 416 or whatever members of the fucking thing, are all there vote. Like, really? That doesn't seem to be how government works. But it does work when it comes to Israel. It always works when it comes to Israel. And this is the thing, like, it's huh? He said what?
it just sounded just like.
Um I just I it's like with everything that we keep talking about, there's always a much deeper element that we're not looking at. And it's available to you. You can see it if you look. They literally brag about it. Like I keep telling you guys, go watch Hollywoodism. Hollywoodism is so unbelievably telling as to, you know, what the narrative is, who controls the narrative, and why they control it, how they control it. They flat out brag about how they control our thought process. You know? I don't care. Yeah. No, that's Patrick Duffy. It's Dallas. She doesn't know shit. She does this shit all the time. If my wife tells you it was somebody from a movie, you gotta be like, okay. No, you don't.
One of those old movies.
You clearly
I
don't
got the
know.
movie wrong. I don't.
It's not a movie. Dallas is a TV show.
Well, yeah,
Elon has saved us over $1 billion, Miley. Yep, that's what it is. He saved us. God, people are stupid. So when do you think you're going to start seeing those savings? When are those savings going to come back to you? I promise you. Oh yeah, I have to keep reminding you guys. I'm running for president in 2028. I announced my candidacy the other day, and I'm running on the platform that my first order of business will be to get rid of the Jays, to give them what they want. Most more than anything, if you want to be a part of that cult, I will accommodate it. Okay. But I will accommodate it over in Israel. You all get to go to Israel. If you're gonna worship the cult, then the place for that is Israel. We're not gonna pay you guys anymore. The only thing we're gonna do is make sure everybody gets there
Safe.
safely. Yeah.
Not crammed in the backs of boats.
Nope. Nope. We're not gonna sardine can you in the boats, and we're gonna you all have a nice airline flight
With your luggage.
with whatever crap. Well, I mean, not all of your crap. You're gonna have to get rid of some of it, or pay for it yourself, which I'm sure you're more than capable of. Well, the beef's gonna vote for me. Like I have some great plans actually. We're gonna eliminate all of that waste. Immediately. Anybody with dual Israeli citizenship, anybody who identifies as that, you're gonna go. Again, nobody's talking about killing you. I mean, if you think going to Israel is a death sentence, then you'd have to take that up with the Israeli authorities and maybe address why.
Not even they like you.
Yeah. Why nobody likes you, right? And then I want to institute the water powered cars. I want to uncover whatever that technology is, and pass legislation. While you guys are all, is it electric or gas? I love the people that think the diesel generator that powers the power stations, powers all those power stations that multiple cars will plug into, that one diesel generator is somehow equivalent to or worse than all of the exact same amount of cars being internal combustion engines. But even still, let's just eliminate it altogether and force the auto companies to develop the water powered cars that Meyer invented all those years back. All that tech. And Meyer's not the only one. There are plenty of people that have done it. We're also going to institute the solar road technology, which will create so many fucking jobs. The amount of jobs that will be created from the solar road institution. It's economy changing.
Places that have winter snow.
They still have the sunlight.
Yeah, but the road is snow covered. The solar panels are snow covered. So how does that work?
Well, they're easily cleaned like any other road, and they probably have heating elements in them. I mean,
that would be a huge expense.
It wouldn't be though. That's the thing. This technology was developed maybe 20 years ago, and it disappeared. But it was safe. It was effective. It was in little Lego pieces. So if something broke, something went wrong, you could just pull that piece out and put the new piece in. But no, it's actually a very viable technology, and I'm sure it's even more so today. The issue being that we think that, like, you have no fucking idea how much tech the military has. You have no idea how advanced we truly are.
What movie was that with the it was a cartoon, the kid, the different, like,
I have no idea. Patrick Duffy?
No, with the girl that grows gigantic girl.
Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about.
And they're kept in the lab, and they break out.
Oh, the gigantic. Are you talking about the
fish guy?
Oh, that one movie. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Monsters Inc. Or not Monsters.
No.
Monsters versus Aliens.
Right. So they're in this underground military. They have all kinds of tech in there.
Right. All kinds of shit. They've been telling you that shit. But then how much of that too is them doing the fear propaganda bullshit? Again, it doesn't matter whether Israel has nukes or not. If we all believe Israel has nukes and that they will launch them in every direction should they ever feel threatened again, we're much less likely to attack them because we believe it. You know, why do you think all these goofy ass cop shows exist? It's to program the people. One, to program the people that the cops are the good guys, and two, that they have way more tech than they actually do. A prime example of that is the Trump shooting, right? Because there are endless, you know, NCIS and Criminal Minds and all these episodes from the early 2000s or the late 2000s, early 2010s, where they are able to create basically, I'll do it, 3D maps of any given area, especially if it's like an event or something, because so many people are on their phones either taking pictures, taking videos, doing, especially nowadays with live feeds, that they can, you know, it inevitably works out that somebody is in every position taking some sort of visual photograph or video, especially now with the live feeds. So to think that when it comes to the Trump shooting, with all of the cell phone videos that were everywhere, people walking around with two cell phones, why is there no videos of it? I mean, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, it should be weird to you how few videos actually exist of that shooting. Haven't seen a single video that shows the guy that actually got shot. Not the shooter, but the civilian guy has the name that no one can say or spell apparently. I hear about people. What you want, see, true selfishness is the key to salvation. True selfishness. My true selfishness is wanting myself, my wife, my children, and their children, and children, and children, and children, to live the happiest, healthiest, safest lives they can live. The only way that can happen is if everyone else is living the happiest, healthiest, safest lives they can live. It's just that as long as there are still people out there struggling, suffering, whatever, we're all in danger because you never know what people will do in a situation, a desperate situation. Your wife is on her period. It's a really bad one. Any advice or words of encouragement? Stay off the tracks, dude.
For what part of it?
Stay off the tracks. Understand? You have no fucking. It's awful. I just this. I love this topic. Thanks for bringing it up. But it's just awful. I totally have all the sympathy in the world for women on their periods. It's horrible. It sounds horrible. I can't even imagine what it's like horrible, but from what you tell me, it's like there's nothing good about it. I don't know of anything good that comes out of it where you're like, oh, yay, I'm swollen. Oh, yay, I'm sore. I'm cramping. I'm irritable. I'm bleeding all in my crotch. I had a big giant tampon or a pad in there. Like, nothing is good about that. Nothing is good about that.
You just have no idea.
Right.
And I have a high pain tolerance. So the amount of pain is unreal.
I mean, for some it's not as bad, and lucky for you. But to think that for some it is, and so I don't think that you should have to pretend like everything's okay and just do your job and like I don't see that being a reality, and it's not a reality. You know,
It's been a reality for women for
but
generations now.
those those weeks, maybe not all of them, But there are many times throughout your existence that the people that deal with you are have to be compromised because of your situation. It's not like it's this thing that every woman is just great at getting through and acting their way and nobody could ever know and blah blah blah. No way. And again, you shouldn't have to. It's such bullshit. It's such crazy nonsense to think that we should pretend it's that way. But it's like the only way we can truly be humans is if we open ourselves up to things that we've been programmed not to say or not to like or whatever. Like women don't want the responsibility of the vagina, but they want all of the benefits that come with the vagina. Women want to blame dudes for them getting pregnant because they chose to go out to the bar and get drunk and then go have sex with a guy unprotected at the small little window each month that they can get pregnant. It's not like you can get pregnant anytime. It's a really small window. And you're out there throwing the pussy around like that and you want to pretend like that's the dude's fault? I'm sure the dude's thinking there's no way this broad's this dumb, and there's a lot of dumbass dudes out there. To think that you would be throwing the pussy around to some dumbass dude out there who's not going to be the right guy, what are you thinking? Oh, he might not like me if I don't sleep with him. Well, good. Good. Then like that's probably not the best dude for you. If he's not willing to wait because you're like, "Oh, hey, my shit's all bleedy and it's probably not a good idea, or we might create another human being if we do this. So, hey, why don't I just blow you? If you really want to keep the guy that bad, just blow him. He'll be more than okay with that. Unless you're not very good at it. But all that means is then you have to just, you know, up your game, up your skills. There's not a guy on earth that's gonna be like, oh, well, there are weirdos, but if you give a great blowjob, they're gonna be like, no, I don't want that. Of course they're gonna want it. What are you talking about? I'm still gonna get periods when I mean, it's funny because women like, yeah, you do get benefits that we don't. There's very few guys watching or even around that can be like, you know what? I feel like going to the bar and having a great time. I'm not even gonna put on clean, nice clothes. I'm just gonna go in some sweatpants and a t-shirt, and I'm gonna go with no money, and I'm gonna have a good time. It just doesn't work for us that way. Whether you like it or not, that's a benefit.
Never go to the bar with others.
Okay, well, that's you. But you could. That's the point. Is you could. I mean, if you're gonna do that, of course you're setting yourself up for a situation. Like, right. Why would you ever do that to somebody?
Right.
They're not buying you drinks because they like you and they want to, they're like, man, your company is just so great. I know you're going to be the type of person I want to spend hours talking to just by looking across the bar at you.
No, and at that point, you're just being a whore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it ain't tricking if you got it. Nah. I don't, I think so much there's like way too much emphasis on getting laid. And it's great, no doubt about it. When you're young, and especially when it's new. New is always fun. Not always, but sometimes. But it can be. But like, it's really not the big deal we make it out to be. It's cool, but it's not bring another life into this world cool. It's not commit a fucking crime
have a disease for the rest of your life. Cool.
It's not right. It's not commit a crime and violate someone against their will. Cool. I just
Because especially nowadays, like if that's what turns you on, there's lots of girls that want that, where you don't have to destroy their life.
right,
Like that's what they want in bed. So
right.
if that's what turns you on, find that girl. Don't violate girls that don't like that, and now you destroyed their life.
It's just strange. I just can't. I just the good part to me about sex is watching her. Like, I mean, sex is oh, okay, Jesus Christ, oh man, whew. All right, I'm tired now. Like that's
But sex to some people is
no, it's great.
having, her fuck his penis with her feet. That,
Right,
like,
but I'm
so
just saying, like the good part to me is watching you. I can't imagine you're going, no, no, stop it. I don't want this, screaming, crying. I can't imagine you're passed out. And I'm like, come on, like it just, what could be? That's a dead body, you know. You might as well be fucking a dead body. Why is this how we do things? And at the same time, like women cannot keep playing this victim. Like I knew just about every girl I've ever known had had their Larry. Had their guy that would hang around hoping that one day you would be desperate enough to entertain them. And when you did, you would realize just how amazing, like they that you love them as much as they love you, and you know and there are lots of chicks out there that it's way worse than that, where they know the guy is in love with them. Oh yeah, he's in love with me, but whenever I tell him all the time nothing's gonna happen. But then you take his money, you take his gifts, and all that, and at the same you should.
now see, Leah, it's never been like
I
that.
know, I know, I know. That's why I said it's different. um but like I can't, to me it's that guy's fault, right? He should know better. The fact that he's getting what he wants out of the relationship. Sure, he wants more, but he knows that you're not going to take gift number 28 and be like, okay, this is the time where she's really going to be like, oh, you know that. I had that happen once where there was this girl. Her name was Courtney. She was super hot, and she was like, she was like super hot, but like she was sexy, like for a fucking weird, little. She was like one of those chicks who was just naturally like knew how to like walk and like gave you funny looks and stuff. And it's like, how did you even learn how to do this stuff? But she lived in, she was in Northville, and then she moved to Canton. Her family moved to Canton. And so I would drive to go see her all the time from Northville to Canton, which was not, it was like 20 miles, maybe 10, 15 miles. And I never got anywhere with her. Like I was like her goofy friend, and I was just so enamored with this girl. And she didn't like it was like she didn't even have to try. Like I was, hey, you want to hang out? Hey, you wanted this? She would. And then one night we were drinking at a friend's house, and everybody was having fun, her and I in the bathroom, and we kissed once. That happened after that. Maybe more happened. I don't really know. But the next day, I was like so like, oh my god, this is it. Like this is it. And I, I remember taking her home, I think, and I was like trying to hold, like I was like overcompensating because she wasn't giving any signs, and I was like trying to pull those signs out, like grab her hand, stuff like that. And then, I dropped her off, and I don't remember if how that. I'm sure it was awkward, so I felt all weird, and I remember like I don't know. I guess I had picked her back up later on in the day or something, and we were sitting there, and I was like, and I, or maybe we were in the car, and maybe that was it. As I was dropping her off, I think that's what it was. I was like, so did last night happen just because you were drunk? And she was and I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. And so she got out, and then it was like, I don't know. It must have made me try harder or something. I don't know. But at the same time, it was like her button had flipped, and now she was going to, she had me to where like one day we were gonna go. She knew a guy that had some opium, and he would sell it like a big goober in between two pennies. That's how you would buy it. And so we went to go buy it, and I don't know. We were somewhere like out here, or maybe even that way more, and went to his house, and we're sitting there, and they went upstairs for a minute, or they went upstairs, and then it's like an hour, and I remember I had to be home because I had to do something, and like it was gonna take me at least 30 minutes to get home, and she knew that, and they were upstairs forever, and I was getting mad, but there was one like there were cell phones or anything back then. And instead of just leaving her dumbass, I just kept waiting and kept waiting and then they came downstairs, and they had obviously just got done fucking, and I remember being so mad, and I took her home, and I'm pretty sure that was the last time I saw her. But I was like, I learned my lesson. I wasn't gonna let that happen anymore. Like I felt like that was enough. It had already gotten to that point probably a few different times, and or at least close to it a few different times. But that time where
You didn't let her have it in the car ride home?
no, I was very like, you don't know who I was. I was very insecure and very I had grown up in my mom's house. I my life was spent bowing down to dysfunctional women who don't treat me great. There was a reason why I was attracted to her in the first place, right? Like I shouldn't have been wasting any of that time I was spending with her. I was never going to get anywhere with her, and it was obvious from the beginning. It was obvious. It was just like it became like it was almost like it was like a prize. I had to get this prize, and it was just weird, and I didn't know how to. She was like a woman, and I was just this little boy. Like, oh, you like that song? I like that song too. Like, I just didn't know how to do any of it. She was extremely valuable to me in the long run, but it was painful. That's a painful process, and I can't imagine the guys that like I've known plenty of women, girls that would oh, we need some money. Hey, let me call this guy. He'll give me some money. I just got to go give him a couple hugs and laugh at his little, and we'd go and it'd be this fat little white guy. And he'd be, hey. And she'd be like, no, I just, you're not, like, it would just be shitty. But he knew his role. He knew what he was doing. And I'm sure at some point he got something out of it that she would never tell anybody.
Her in action.
Right.
I was disgusted. Like,
she was awful.
How do you do that?
There was one time in particular where she was like, we didn't have any weed. And she was like, oh, I'll get some. And she went outside and
she called him. He came.
Yeah, tell him to come over, like, under the guise that they were going to hang out or something. And then she went, sat in the car, got the weed from him on, like, the flip or something. She was, she'd pay him back later. And then told him, like, all right, I'll see you. And she was like, oh, yeah, no, he wants, like, he wants to fuck me and blah, blah, blah. And, no, I'll never pay him. But yeah, and it was like a good bag of weed. It was like a quarter or something.
Yeah, it was about a quarter, yeah.
And it was just like, how could you be that way to people?
I was so disgusted. I just couldn't do that to people.
It's strange. But that's how we've been, that's why I'm so obsessed with watching what I watch. Because I see why we are the way we are. The generations that grew up watching all those shows, that's how they learned how to treat people. And when you understand who all of those, yeah, but her parents and everybody, this is what you don't understand because you haven't not just watched Hollywoodism, but took it in. They're flat out telling you that what you think, your American ideals, your goals, your aspirations, all of that, they gave it to you. They created it through the imagery that we're supposed to, we're supposed to live, we're supposed to go to school, we're supposed to go to college, we're supposed to get married and have kids. Like, we both know why the fuck do we have kids? Like, that shit is insane. Why didn't anybody ever be honest about what it was like to have kids? How insanely difficult it is, and how hurt, how painful. The best thing is them growing up and moving on, and it's the most painful thing. It's this thing where, like, I want them to go out and put themselves in danger. I want them to go out and be in fentanyl world where fentanyl can be in anything, anywhere, anytime. Like, that's you want them to go out into that world, and that world sucks. You can't protect them, and that's such a horrible fucking feeling. Knowing that I can't be there when their friends are like, dude, try it, come on, you gotta try this, and they're like, no, I don't really want to. Oh, pussy, don't be a pussy. And they break, and I can't be that, smack that shit out of their hands. Like, that shit all scares the fuck out of me. Those are feelings and potential situations that aren't worth it. The good part's great, but not having it, you just don't realize, like, the bullet you dodged. I know people that are my age. I know a guy that's my age that says, he still wants to have a child. And it's like, what are you, fucking nuts? You just have no goddamn idea what you're talking about. You just, you can't. You have no idea how much work it is.
They get flashes of, oh, the baby, oh, the toddler,
holding the little
8-year-old
baby,
playing ball with me, oh, the teenager asking for the car key. Like, they get those, like, Leave It to Beaver flashes.
Exactly. You just proved my point. They get the Leave It to Beaver flashes because that's what they were given.
That is not the daily reality. Do you want to hear the daily reality?
No.
Put the phone down the stairs. You'll hear the daily
Bro. But that's what That's why I want you to see Hollywoodism so bad, because it really does. Like it's shocking that they were so arrogant that they really would make a movie flat out telling you that the American dream is the J dream. That's what they. That's a quote from the movie. When you understand that and then you just apply it. You know, when you look at this rape culture that we have, and you look at like who's in charge of our country and what TV shows those kids watched growing up. The woman was supposed to be subservient. Yeah, she might get her little quibs in here and there. She might actually get the best joke because she's smarter than the guy. But she knows her place. She's doing her wash. She's a house. She gets up every day earlier than everyone else so she can do her makeup so she can clean the house all day. You know? I mean, when you look at Leave It to Beaver, which is, you know, sort of the standard, the Leave It to, like, that's what we would all think. Like, Leave It to Beaver is sort of that.
Quintessential
Right.
McCarthyism.
Exactly. When you look at how dumb she was, one time Wally got his hair, he styled his hair a little differently and like this weird, like, instead of just the normal hair, it had a bunch of grease in it and it curled up on either side and it was like a greaser look. And she lost her shit. She went to the school asking the school if they would outlaw it, and you know, it was insane. She came off as insane. And she always comes across as the third child. And that you see that from Leave It to Beaver to the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch, not only was she the what seventh child, but Alice was another child too. Mr. Brady. Oh, the last thing you want to do is make Mr. Brady mad. Oh, no. Well, if you're gonna tell him and he's gonna get mad, make sure I'm not here. You know. And they act like they paint this picture like he's this motherfucker that's gonna start swinging. And of course, the episode I'm thinking of is when Marcia decides she likes this super nerdy J boy who like likes bugs and shit. Not the boy. There is no fucking way a Marcia Brady is gonna like Irving Heckelstein, the bug kid. The one that all the other kids are like, yeah, he's a weirdo. He's a straight up J, glasses. He sits there and reads his book at recess all day, his bug books. And Marcia tries to get his attention, and he shows her no attention until she throws some bugs on the ground that she had in her pocket. And she's like, oh, look, a blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, you like bugs too? And the whole episode is the mother, like, trying to figure out how to make her daughter more desirable so this one particular boy likes her. You know, how can she help? Okay, so the mother's gonna quiz the daughter about different types of bugs and all that shit.
Right.
It's not about, oh, hey, that boy doesn't like you. Well, find a boy that does. It's change who you are completely. Even if you don't like something like bugs, if you want to get that ugly little J boy, you do what you got to do. Think about the time when Jan. So Jan brought a boy home, and Jan liked the boy, and as soon as the boy saw Marcia, he fell for Marcia. And so Jan now thinks she's ugly, and when they grew up, Jan grew up to be the best looking of the group. But uh, at one point, she puts a disguise on, and she goes to the mall, and she tries to buy some freckle remover, something to bleach her face from the pharmacist. And the pharmacist, like, he ends up saying something, but it's not like, you know, if the boy doesn't like you for having the freckles, then he's not worth it. It's something like, you know, it's just something where it's like she sort of complies, and it's just so weird how that all used to be. And again, it's 100% manufactured. Whether it's the black family growing up in the ghetto, or the, you know, the white trash family growing up in Chicago, or the, you know, the average sort of white household with a servant. Because back in the day, you know, think about how many of those shows they had a servant, they had a maid. One show was all about the maid. It's called Hazel. And Hazel is this J woman who runs like this. But she's it's funny to think like the J is the maid for the Wasp family, you know. But I mean, didn't you think like growing up that everybody had maids? The way they made it look in all those shows, everybody had maids. Even the Fresh Prince, they had the maid. Jeffrey, you're gonna get a sassy maid. But all of these shows, start to finish, front to back, top to bottom, they are J creations. 100%. It's all J. It's all J, all of it. The writers, especially the writers, they have created the narrative. The Jays created what it meant to be black. The Jays created the redneck stereotype. The idea that you know, Jesus, and again, Uzi fresh out of school. Oh, here we go. Just before you leave for the military. And then maybe you come back, maybe you don't. But when you do come back, you're all fucked up. They call it shell shocked. Shouldn't he get ready?
I mean, I'm sure he's talked to him.
Yeah, but you know how that works. Can say all you want. They have controlled every aspect of our lives. They've made us into the robots they want us to be.
Have you talked to your dad?
Right? They've completely manufactured our narrative, so we are who they want us to be. We are who they want us to be. We are who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were. I love that quote. It's that's the thing. Like but if you go watch Hollywood, it's strange. I say this all the time. Like, you guys have to look at how it works. They're not gonna put out the memo telling you Guy Williams is right about this, and this. You know? It's you have to look at the clues you're given, the evidence that you're given. And when you look at, you know, you look at the evidence just on my feed alone. You look at what they do just on my feed alone. It should wake you up. It should tell you something. Something. You know, I can talk about all sorts of things. I start talking about Hollywoodism again. The movie they made. The movie they wanted us to see. That's why they made it. They made it to brag about how great they are. And that seems to really trip things up, huh? Ask yourself what that's about. You know, they want us to be What we like they we are what they want us to be. Remember that. Your whole concept of like political identity, religious identity, your thoughts on gay, your thoughts on all of it. It's all just manufactured. And depending on where you happen to have been born, you know, where you happen to live, where your parents happen to have sex, you have a certain set, you might have a different, like the way that we feel about it's so hard for Americans to wrap their heads around that, right? The way that we're made to feel about America is the same way the Belgians think about Belgium and the Chinese think about China and the Japanese think about Nippon because they don't call their country China or Japan. They call their country Nippon. And for some reason, we call it Japan. Why do you think that is? Just like we call Germany Germany instead of Deutschland. They're the Deutsch. They speak Deutsch. They call their country Deutschland. Why do we call it Germany? It's interesting. People don't think like they can do that, right? Somebody mentioned to me. If you look at how we treat cows and pigs and shit, these are life forms. These are life forms that when they're young, we go, oh my god, those are so cute. But what we do is we put them in situations where there's a lane down the middle, and then on either side, every couple feet, there's a pen where the pig or the cow lives. And that's their lives. They have their little house. What's up? No. Wouldn't you know if I was? Um the if you look at it, it's actually really familiar, right? A lane in the middle, and then individual pens on either side. Somebody's driving like they're looking. But that's the same way that we look at these animals, cows. We eat their flesh. We make their brains into head cheese. We wear their skin. We skin them and dry the skin out, make leather out of it. We wear their skin. We crush their bones up for other products and their hooves for whatever glue. Who knows? Right? We 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 don't think about the life form that once embodied the skin that we're wearing while we're eating our steak. You know, who knows what the fucking bones are in our everyday products, but we don't think about that shit. And we don't because we think of them as lower life forms than us. We are the supreme beings, so everything is here for our toil, for our use. Well, what happens when a group of people who just happen to be in charge of everything, when they happen to think about us, the people that aren't their people, the same way that we're all goyim. They lump us in with the pigs and the cattle and the beds and the chairs and the cars, because everything that isn't them specifically is goyim. So when they look at us and they look at our lives the same way that we look at cows' lives, what does that tell you? The fact that those people would be in charge of our lives, that they would be in any sort of positions of power, knowing that deep down you think I'm a goyim, You know, when the cameras stop rolling and you're with your group of work, you just laugh at us, call us goyim. That's a problem. That's an issue. Nobody should be that way. Hmm? But this is the narrative that we've been trained to accept. Why do you think in every fucking TV show the J is the judge? The J is the lawyer. You know? Why do you think that you'll see it? Oh, the chief, the mayor, whoever it is, it's always the J. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they show us that all the time? How do you think it is that way? You think it just happens to be that way? That 2% of the population just happens to dominate just because what? Do you think are you this is the thing. Are you willing to say that they're just better than us? There's a conspiracy which is very obvious, or they're just better. Better, stronger, faster, smarter. They're just better. Otherwise, it won't work. It has to be one of the two. It has to be one or of the two because it's obvious there's something going on. But you know, when you're getting your information, like you believe yourself to be well informed because you watch the news and you read the news and you read the papers and shit like that. So then you consider yourself well informed. And you even go, well, I don't just go mainstream sources. I do look at other sources. It doesn't. It's like it. Unless you understand the Hollywoodism aspect of it, you don't realize how much it really doesn't matter. You know, it's when you understand Hollywoodism, you understand that every single thing that's on that TV is 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 a weapon, is a manipulated weapon used against us, and that everything that's in the media that's allowed to get to you is allowed to get to you because it follows a narrative they want followed. It Hollywoodism is such a powerful movie that I think that most people, even if they watch it, they're not going to necessarily realize what they're seeing because it's so obvious. It's so you're like, no way this is it could be this obvious. You just won't let yourself think that way. To imagine if it was me that made the movie and I used people of color and I made it word for word except for instead of we I said they. What do you like? You have to know that wouldn't be. There are Jays who are anti-Zionist. Yeah, who gives a shit? They're still Jays. See, it's funny because you won't answer. You're talking in circles, and you think you're clever talking about can't separate Zionism and Judaism. I know you don't want to sound anti-Semitic because it's too taboo, but you kind of. I am proud of fuck of my anti-Semitism. You have no idea how proud of my anti-Semitism I am. Anti-Semitic is the wrong word, fool. Semitism and Semitic are different. Semitic refers to all of the people in the region: the Palestinians, the Syrians, the Iranians, the Yemenis, the Lebanese, even the North African places like Egypt and Morocco and all these other. These are all white, black, brown. These are Semitic people because they come from that region, and I'm definitely not anti-Semitic. Semitism is something completely different. Let's have some fun here. We always have to have our little fun, don't we? We don't want to get accused of any sort of shenanigans. So We go with Semitism, definition. Oops. We go to Merriam-Webster.com, Merriam-Webster.com, Semitism. Let's see, just so we know. Come on, stupid.
Semitism.
There you go. So you see we're here, right? Semitism.
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 Number 1A, Semitic character qualities. Number 1B, a characteristic feature of a Semitic language occurring in another language. Number 2, policy or predisposition favorable to Jays. Policy or predisposition favorable to Jays. You see that? That's supremacy. That is Jay supremacy. Right? And I don't believe that they should get any sort of favor, especially when it comes to policy and predisposition. People don't realize what that means. And it's important that this is in stone. This is what's written. This is the official stuff. You might get distracted by different versions of different levels of distraction. But this is the foundation of all of it. This is what you need to know. Policy is the laws, the rules, the regulations, the shit that affects everything. And predisposition is how you go into something. So you go into, I'm going to go to a basketball game thinking you're going to see a basketball game. If you go to thinking you're going to go see a basketball game and it ends up to be a ballet, you're going to be pretty upset. Your predisposition was that you were going to a basketball game. You're predisposed. You're before you go into anything, how you've been programmed to think. You're programmed to think, I'm going to a basketball game. I'm going to see basketball. Your program is favorable to the Jays as well as the laws. That's not okay. I'm not trying to separate the two. That's where you guys are just stupid. And the thing is, it's not like it's confusing or I've ever made it confusing. I've always told you guys, it's about the Jays. I don't care if there are a couple, if we're shown a couple that supposedly don't like Zionism. Well, the cult that you belong to is a disgusting, disgusting cult. And I think if it was anybody else, people would be really upset. The cutting and sucking of baby penises is just disgusting. The fact you think women's vaginas are poisonous is disgusting. The slavery. Again, just go watch Hollywoodism. What's funny is there's a bunch of low-level Jays that have been tricked into being like the fodder. They're the buffer. They're the ones that are sitting there going, but I'm not like that. I mean, of course, yeah, I know I think everybody's a goyim, and yeah, I know I think we're better than everybody else, but still, I'm not like that. All right. Later, dude. We'll come back.
Okay.
Right? No, you're a horrible kid. You're a horrible kid who smokes meth.
Right.
Yeah,
Smokes meth.
He was smoking meth. You guys, after you guys went to sleep, he was in the bathroom. What you doing? It's the truth. I wouldn't lie. Lies make baby Jesus cry. All right, brother. What? See you, man. Thanks for being good. Yeah, and society will crumble in the way you're afraid it will because so. Whatever that means. Society will crumble in the way I'm afraid. Society won't crumble. The only way it'll crumble is if you maintain, if you people are still in charge. It can't work. People can't know the truth and still continue to be willing slaves. It doesn't work that way. Yep. Look at these dumb fucking. Look at these dumb comments just over and over again. It's so crazy. It's just so crazy to think about it. Like it's either these people are dumb jays, they're bots, or they really are just random people dumb enough to sit here and think that I'm wrong about any of this. They can't actually tell me what I'm wrong about, which should sort of fuck with you a little bit. But you would think after all these doing this every day and saying the same things all the time, you would think there would be more opposition. You guys know what I'm going to say. You know, why don't you come at me better?
Now we have to open prayer to be good.
He's like a ball of hatred. Yep, you're right. Yeah, I'm a ball of hatred. No, because I'm like, again, you get tricked into thinking things like you shouldn't hate stuff. I am so proud to hate pedos. I am so proud to hate J slavery and everything that has to do with them.
That's him.
I know.
Oh, you're not.
I'm
You're not filled with hatred.
I'm proud of my hatred. I have a great relationship with my hatred. And I think the only way you can ever be a well-balanced person who, you know, has love in their hearts and all that, you can't have love if you can't have hate, if you don't have hatred. How do you know the difference? I'm very, very content and focused. My hatred is very, very focused. And look at how, again, stupid people are going to sit here and try to pretend like I'm in the wrong for hating the wrong things instead of and keeping your mouth shut. That's the bad part. Just because someone says they are God's favorite doesn't make it so. So why? So what? Just because God says they are God's favorite does not make it so. So why are you so upset, dude? Come on, are you serious?
I just want to make sure it's not the
It's
German
oh,
Shepherd.
it's not. It's the dude with the pit.
Okay.
I just, dude, there's no God. Don't. It's not because of that. It's because of who they are and what they say about us and how they look at us. See, again, I just don't think people. I mean, people don't know. It's not like they were servers at the Townsend.
Rob might take me for a trade today.
It's not like they you know, they experienced firsthand.
Right.
You guys think because some have been nice to your face that they're nice. They are committing genocide right now. And as a population, they're not overwhelmingly protesting it here in the United States. Do you see them anywhere? The only interviews I've seen and heard were Michael Rappaport, John Lovitz, Jerry Seinfeld, all these guys, they're saying, they're the ones saying that if you don't support Israel's genocide of the Palestinians, then you are opposed, you know, you're anti-Semitic. That's if you don't support Israel, then you don't support Judaism. They're the ones that say that shit. If they say it, then okay, then we can say it too. I mean, look at this shit. It's just insane. What's so bad about what? You guys are dumb. It's just dumb. What are you talking about? Do you understand like the whole pedo situation that exists, especially when we're talking about Hollywood and government? That's them. The reason why our laws aren't, you know, more strict and don't say we kill pedophiles as soon as you get exposed and, you know, truly exposed. The people that go, well, what about the people that you know are innocent? Well, if there's any sort of hint to your innocence, then you get locked up until we can prove it one way or another. But if we know that you're fucking guilty, Why would we keep you around? Who doesn't agree with that? Who in the world doesn't think that that's how things should be? But see, you're not going to see it. You're going to see these people that keep avoiding the truth. And when it comes to the Jays, they're just awful people. And why is everybody so okay with the whole baby penis cutting and sucking? Whether it happens a lot of times or it only happens a few times a year, it's an issue. Nate, I'm using the chair because I'm playing on the TV. Okay, are you using the TV? Get out of the chair. Get out of the chair.
We have 50 million blankets.
Fighting over a damn chair. I know. Brothers.
Oh my God. Do you know how many times
they're fighting.
My brother and I fought over a chair one time so bad. We were both in it trying to push each other out, and I shoved him real hard, and he flew out of the chair. And I think it was his face or something. He ended up needing stitches, and I felt really bad. Yes, siblings fight over chairs and stupid shit.
Well, but the thing is, look, this goes to show you that there are people that are watching that if they think they can jump in on something.
Yeah,
if there's anything they can hey.
Who gives a
So
fuck?
you would think if you're that perceptive and you're paying that much attention to any little thing you can find, how come you're not consistently telling me what I'm wrong about? How come you're not breaking down the things that I'm saying and showing me exactly what I'm wrong about? It's a level of stupidity that this is sort of the Israeli thing. This is that if you can't open up the books on Israel because if you do that demonizes Israel.
Well,
It's like people and nobody says it. Nobody says, well, if you were doing good things, would we be able to demonize you?
who would want to demonize you unless you were doing bad shit?
Well, it wouldn't matter. If you were doing good things, we couldn't demonize you. Wouldn't matter if somebody would want to or anything. If there's nothing that can demonize you, then they can't demonize you.
What?
Right? But if your first response to opening up the books is, hey, that's gonna demonize us, that shows you that they fucking know. They know what they're doing is unacceptable. And that if the world actually knew what was going on, hopefully we would say something. It's just insane. It's insane how like don't you feel like insulted? Don't you feel like that's the thing that bugs me so much is how arrogant they exist. And they live in this arrogant bubble that they say and do these horrible things knowing that we're too stupid to fucking see it or say something if we do. And then if we do, they know they can shut us down with a few different words. Like you see them try to do it to me all the time. That's anti-Semitic. As soon as you're dumb enough to say those words to me, you lose. I'm going to make you look like you don't know shit. I'm going to make you look ignorant. That's ignorant. That's ignorant. You're so ignorant. Yeah. Sure have. Sure have.
What have you done?
I lost a long time ago because I'm getting trolled. I can't tell you if that's the best. Can you imagine this is what you take as a victory? I'm sitting here going, by all means, make me look stupid. Prove me wrong about anything I'm saying. And you're like, nah, we're just, yeah. Like, it's amazing. And it shows you what's happening, because how many people that are real people will actually do this? How many people, real life people, it's Super Bowl Sunday, you got nothing, you have nothing else going on, so you're gonna sit here and try to troll Guy Williams, the guy that keeps talking about we need to cut off the Jays and execute the pedos. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people in that boat. I'm sure there's a lot of non-Jays that are just like, yeah, we should keep giving Israel all the money. Why not? We should send our American troops over to die for Israeli bullshit. Yeah, that's true. Our government should be riddled with dual Israeli citizens. Why not? Right? That's, you guys all think that way? Is it that you think that way, or you don't understand that that's what's happening? When was the last time you voted for anything, like for any of the benefits that Israel gets? When was the last time you voted for that? How many people are like, we shouldn't even, we should probably give Israel more money. And we don't give Israel enough money. We don't need that money here. The roads, the infrastructure itself doesn't need that $3.8 billion a year plus. Like I just, you see it over and over again. And and as this dumbass says, they've accepted it. Right. Well, that's it. They've accepted it. So how do we get people to unaccept? How do they get them to accept it? Through the media, through the repetition, through talking, through the fluoride. You know, they it's an assault from all directions. So how do we combat it? Well, I know what I do seems to really, really bug them a lot. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's strange.
It's funny to me.
It's funny, yeah, but it's like
Silly people.
they're so stupid they out themselves, right? You know, why would anybody be upset at me other than you're a J pedo? You're a part of that whole Geppetto group. You know, I'm done and right guy projecting his insecurities on me. Who? Yeah, I mean, right? That's what I'm projecting my fake insecurities on you, because I'm the one that believes in cutting and sucking baby penises, right? I'm the one that believes women's vaginas are disgusting. I'm the one that's okay with genocide. I'm the one that's okay with the whole Hollywood pedo situation. And not just the pedo situation. The cultural rape, the rape in general. It's just a rape culture that's Hollywood. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to the only difference between you and I is that you believe in this really horrible cult and I don't. We're the same. Obviously I'm superior to you physically, but we're basically the same, right? And I'm sitting here listing off all these reasons why we should eliminate this cult. And instead of debunking my reasons or giving me reasons why we shouldn't, you just keep proving my point. And that's how that happens every single fucking time. It's really amazing. It's really amazing to think about, like, it's so difficult for me to find an actual debate, an actual conversation about these things. Like I educate myself. I have whatever hypothesis I have. I see a news report. I see a Facebook post of something, and I then, okay, let's dig into this a little bit more. And then I dig into it and I educate myself the way that I'm supposed to. I don't read the conspiracy theory pages. I don't even know where you would find the conspiracy theory pages. I just read the sources that I'm supposed to read. Once I then read what I'm supposed to read, it usually backs up, it doesn't usually, it always backs up whatever assumption I have. And then I go, okay, so now what? Now that I have seen it with my own eyes and then I've educated myself to prove it, what's the next step? It's not like I can call up my local congressman and my representatives, my mayor, my anything like that. It's not like I can call up a church and be like, hey, can I have a conversation with the highest ranking, most knowledgeable person at this church so I can show you how stupid it is? Like it's I just can't. There's no outlets for that. So the only thing I have left to do is to go live and speak as freely as I can, as I'm allowed to, and put out all of these crazy theories, conspiracy theories that I have. Most of which, if you're paying attention, you'll see. Like I'm not. You can't say, "Oh, Guy clearly watches this person." Notice how they don't say that. They don't. Oh, this guy was watching this. You can't. I don't watch anybody else. But I go live and I try to be as open and as honest as I can, and I'm hoping that intelligence will prevail. And at the end of the day, I'm hoping I'm wrong. It'd be nice to know I'm wrong. It's not some crazy conspiracy that we're losing to a bunch of inferior pieces of shit. I'd really like to believe that that's not the case. But instead of ever addressing any of it like intelligent, realistic human beings would, it's just nothing but crybaby shit. It's nothing but shit that proves the point over and over again. If I screw up some math, or I screw up some dates, or I screw up the way I say something or whatever, if they're smart enough to catch it, which they're not often smart enough to catch it, but if they are, they're quick to say something. Oh, they're fighting over the chair. Like they clearly are paying attention to the video. I'm flat out asking them to explain certain things, or, you know, at the very least, explain why you're here. You hate me so much. Explain why you're here, other than, oh, I just love laughing at the guy that calls out pedos and thinks that Jays should be eliminated, and then, basically uses my comments to prove the same things.
Hi, sweetheart. Actually, they're at my mom's right now, and then they have school tomorrow, so I don't know what time they're gonna be home. I'm sorry, baby. Maybe next time, okay? Aww. Yeah, they're getting older and they're getting boring, but they went to my mom's, right? Aw. Aw.
That's weird.
All right, well, when
I
they
don't
get
like when my
home,
life
we'll see
lies
what
about
time
shit.
it is, but they probably won't be home till after dinner, knowing my mom. For sure, for sure. All right, honey. Bye.
Oh God.
Oh, well, Aiden.
Yeah, I know. Bullet dodge in
He's
there.
getting older now, and he's all about video games. So we live right down the street. He asks every day.
They have to.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be like a situation where they'll realize like they're just too old, but they mean something to that kid, especially with everything going on. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to get a job on Sunday with all the people. I love the people that are on my feed every day, start to finish, who are either at work and doing a horrible job, or their job is to be here, or they don't have a job. But again, look at how desperate and stupid this is. Imagine if it was a real setting, right? Imagine if we were in some sort of debate setting, or we were, some sort of congressional something or other on some sort of TV show, something, and I was the contestant, and then these commenters were my opposition, and I was like, all right, so why do you guys why are you guys here to begin with? If what's your stated purpose? And my stated purpose is this. What's your stated purpose? And then they go, okay, let's see. The most guys say they are more anyways. Your YOUR anti-Semitic. I mean, I don't even know where to go. No, anti-Semitic is the place. I'm proud of my Semitism, dum dum. Let's get it right. And YOUR is not the right your. You're not winning any Father of the Year award. Stop the speech. Stop collecting unemployment like you do. LOL, he doesn't have a job. Misdirection isn't going to work. Y'all playbook, neither is protecting. I thought he worked at night or something. McDonald's is hiring, and that's what you do at night. Other word, blah, blah. This is what it is. This is what the fuck it is. This is what, like, can you imagine if that was the arguments that people were giving if we were in a court situation? And I was like, the Jays are awful because of this and because of that. And I'm making all these points, the genocide, this, that, and the other. And then these guys just start talking about this kind of goofy shit. Well, Your Honor, this guy, I don't like his haircut. Well, this guy's crack. This guy smokes crack. And that's like, what do this is a big boy conversation. Make big boy arguments. But understand, if they could, they would. That's the point being made. All right, I'll be right back. Yep. If they could make me look stupid, if they could come up with something that, we got you, you were wrong about this, and blah, blah, blah. You said this, and it's not, they would absolutely do it. That's their whole goal. Just waiting for some little slip up. It's just amazing, man. It really is. Like, it really makes you, like, for me at least, it strengthens me more than you can imagine. I mean, I've been on the playground before. I know that when you say something about somebody or something, and they start talking about something else, or they back down, it's like you automatically win. If this was a legal setting and nobody could make arguments against the points I'm making, then I'm going to automatically win because there's no argument against it. I thought you were smart. Why so hard? Is that a subject of debate? Yeah, that's what it is. The misdirection and don't start the rant. I suppose. Yeah, blah blah blah. You're reading back and forth. Like, literally, look at this shit. What is this? Same dumb shit over and over again. No, you're debating about gender suffering. You're just debating your right. You're a bum. Everyone has a well listening. Yep, that's what it is. So it bothers you that I'm a bum and I talk about things so much that you spend hours of your life, day after day, trying to get my attention. Boy, that makes a lot of sense. I sure hope I could not be a bum and one day be more like you. Hey, can you imagine? There's a guy. there's a guy sitting on the side of the road begging for change. I actually give away free shit. www.bilderberg, bilderberg-group.com. There's a guy out there begging for change. And this guy comes, get a job. I don't like you because you're a bum. You need to get a job. And he just stays there for hours just yelling at the guy. You're a bum. Why don't you have a job like me? I have a job. Of course, I'm not at work right now. But if I was at work, when I'm not at work, this is what I do. And I'm gonna be back here tomorrow, and I'm gonna be back here the next, because you're a bum and I don't like you. And the guy's like, yeah, but shouldn't we like make life better? Shouldn't we be making life better for the other people for the Palestinians that are being killed right now? Shouldn't we be stopping all these pedo organizations that seemingly run our country and run Hollywood and all? Shouldn't we be banding together to eliminate this J menace? No, you don't have a job. I don't like you. I'm not going to debate you on that. Nobody's debating you on that. I just don't. You're a bum, man. Like, what a dumbass. What a dumbass. How? See, this is again. This is Israel. You know, if you open the books, it demonizes Israel. Like, you don't realize how stupid it makes you look. Your arguments make you look stupid. You know, you can't debate me. You can't debunk anything I'm saying. So you're trying to focus on something that you can't win anyway. You don't know the ins and outs of it, and I'm not going to sit here and give it. Doesn't matter. I'm so much more concerned with the bigger picture, and you're like, no, guy, I want to talk about you. I like you. Can we talk about you some more? It's the silliest shit. It is the silliest shit. I cannot imagine doing that. You know, the thing about being empathetic is you can kind of put yourself in those other situations and try to feel what those other people feel. And like, even when it comes to a lot of this J stuff, I can think, like, if I was this inferior, weak, stupid, you know, I was given the position I'm in, and now all I have to do is maintain it. Well, would I be doing what the Jays do? And yeah, you know, I'd be the first thing that you would do: control the mind, get the vast majority that outnumber you by 98% to you know, self police. To have it in their own heads that you're the best and you're God. What's up? I am. You know, that's I as an empathetically, as an empath, as just a, you know, I can understand that perspective. You know, even though it sucks, even though it's awful, whatever, I can understand why you would do that. When it comes to shit like the pedo stuff, can't understand that one at all. When it comes to even the troll stuff, the only explanation I can come up with that makes sense to me is either you're working, which seems like the most valuable, the one that you would want it to be. At least you're getting paid to do this. Or you're just like a really big fucking loser, and you don't get attention in any way. Like, if you could get positive attention, you would, and you'd probably have friends, and you'd probably, you know, make your own video if you wanted to. I don't know. But instead, you're like that kid that's abused all the time and whatnot. So when he's at school, he gets in trouble because that's the only attention he knows how to get. You know, it's that inferiority coming through. And I can understand it. Like, I can understand when you're plopped in the middle of a room with a bunch of people smarter than you, how that can weigh on you. And there's a bunch of conversations happening that they're using words and shit you don't even know half of them, so you can't get involved in the conversation. I can understand how that would make people feel stupid. But feeling that stupid to the point where you need to address it, let everybody know that you're feeling stupid. That part's weird to me. And then the ability to educate yourself. You have the same access that I do to the same information that I do. And yet you still don't take it. All this stuff with the Jays, it's all there for you. Operation Cast Thy Bread is something that every single one of you should know about. If somebody says that the Jays poison wells, that's a tactic that they use, and it happens to be this stereotype that has followed them through history. For some reason, people make this completely false claim that the Jays poison drinking water supplies. And yet, if you look, you'll see something called Operation Cast Thy Bread, right? Operation Cast Thy Bread was an official Israeli operation. Well, it wasn't. It was a Haganah operation because it was prior to Israel being established. But it was an official operation where before they would attack the place, this is actually how they were able to establish Israel. This is how such an inferior small group of people was able to overtake so many places at one time. And it's because they literally poisoned the drinking water. The main, like the main hub where they first sort of set up the what would become Israel was taking over the village, the town, the whatever called the city called Acre. And they poisoned the water system, and thousands of people got sick from it. And then they came in and they took over because one, the people were sick, and two, well, they didn't have a military to begin with. But this is you can't, there's no denying it. Like, this is a thing. They literally did it. They poisoned the water system. And you understand that they're the people that are willing to do things like poison water systems to get what they want. And then you look at things like our system, like that we have fluoride in our water. That our water system is all poisoned. Fluoride is toxic waste byproduct from fertilizer creation. They can't do anything with it, so they fucking put it in the drinking water to supposedly strengthen our teeth. Why would who do you think's in charge of that? Who do you think decided to do that? How do you think that came to be? YOUR seeding revolution in action. Just sprout nonsense and hope someone. Yep, it's nonsense. Right. Because, again, here, this is so. All of this person's credibility will be based on this, okay? All right? I'm spouting nonsense here. So, Operation Cast. Cast Thy Bread. Okay? Operation Cast Thy Bread. You guys can see it, right? Right. Okay. Oops. Operation Cast Thy Bread. Okay. So now we're going to go here. Operation Cast Thy Bread, which is strange that it's actually a page like this. But one thing about this page that you'll notice, it's totally locked up. Nobody can just come through and edit this page however they see fit. Because I know that's an argument you get a lot about Wikipedia. Oh, anybody can edit that. They can't. Not everybody can edit it. And even if you can, there's bots in place that will check your edit, and within a few minutes it'll be gone. But Operation Cast Thy Bread was a top secret biological warfare operation conducted. Remember, all of this person's credibility is resting on this, right? I'm spouting nonsense. This isn't true. Even though I've already looked it up and Apparently, I somehow I made this happen, right? Conducted by Haganah and later the Israeli Defense Forces that began in April 1948 during the 1948 Palestine War. The Haganah used typhoid bacteria to contaminate drinking water wells in violation of the 1925 Geneva Protocol. The objective was to frighten and prevent Palestinian Arabs from returning to villages captured by the Yishuv and make conditions difficult for attempting to retake territories. The operation resulted in severe illness among local Palestinian civilians. In the final months of the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, now it's the 1948 it was a 1948 Palestine War, and now it's the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Israel gave orders to expand biological warfare campaigns to neighboring Arab states such as Egypt, Lebanon, and Syria, but they were not carried out. Sure, they weren't. Israeli Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion and IDF Chief of General Staff Yigael Yadin oversaw and approved the use of biological warfare. Now, there's the critics, right? Abba Eban, representative of the J Agency for Palestine, strongly denied the operation and sought to. Okay, so when you deny that something is true, the last thing you do is try to prevent people from looking into it. If it's not true, then you want people to see that it's not true. Sought to block further investigations by accusing the Arab states of engaging in anti Semitic incitement. Operation Cast Thy Bread did not achieve the crippling effects its advocates had hoped for and was discontinued by December 1948. Well, that's then if you believe that part. You know? Because I'm sure they never did it again. Think about this shit, right? You don't support that Kennedy fool, do you? I don't fall for any of the bullshit they tell me. If you fall for, especially Trump, if you fall for any of it, you're a fucking fool. Anti-Semitic incitement, weaponization of anti-Semitism. Listen to this. The exploitation of accusations of anti-Semitism, especially to counter anti-Zionism and criticism of Israel, may be described as weaponization of anti-Semitism, instrumentation of anti-Semitism, or playing the anti-Semitism card. Again, my sources. I don't show my sources. It's still Wikipedia. Accusations of anti-Semitism made in bad faith Israel's critics have been described as a form of smear tactics. You tell me if this is what happens on my feed or not, as well as ad hominem. Because that's where this is how I first discovered ad hominem. I had never heard of that before, but check it out. We'll keep reading because I'm making all of this up. Guys, always remember the accusation that I'm making it up. You know, there's a reason why I do what I do, and it's because for years people would hide behind, where's your sources? So then you say your sources, but then they don't know. So now I'm literally reading to you my sources and what they want us to know. This is the key to this. This is what separates, the truthers from the fake truthers, I guess. But this is you don't have to get your sources from some secret guy who wishes to remain anonymous. Blah blah blah. You don't need all that deep dark shit. You just need to look at what they want you to know. Some writers have compared them to playing the race card. The charge of weaponization has been raised in the context of the Arab-Israeli conflict. In various organizations, In various organizations, adoptions of the controversial working definition of anti Semitism and the controversy surrounding anti Semitism in the British Labour Party. Critics have argued that the charge of weaponization itself amounts to an anti Semitic ad hominem attack, deflects from anti Semitism, and protects anti Semites. Ad hominem, short for argumentum ad hominem, refers to several types of arguments that are usually fallacious. Often and currently, this term refers to a rhetorical strategy where the commenter, you guys, attacks the character, motive, or some other attribute of the person making an argument rather than the substance of the argument itself. This avoids genuine debate by creating a diversion, often using a totally irrelevant but highly charged attribute of the opponent's character or background, or a made up one. The most common form of this fallacy is person A, me, makes a claim of fact, all the stuff I'm saying, to which person B, you dumb commenters, asserts that person A, me, has a personal trait, quality, or physical attribute that is repugnant, thereby going off topic, and hence you guys, person B, concludes that me, person A, has their fact wrong without ever addressing the point of the debate. A common misconception is that ad hominem attack is synonymous with an insult. Acknowledging that what I'm saying is right, you just not enough to say so. So you're like, what you're saying is right, but nobody deserves to live under oppression, or maybe I don't know. Man, he's really in deep, making the biggest by reading the narrative they want us to read. I mean, isn't it how many times